What's going on, America? I'm the right-winged angel out of a Mac, and in this video, we got to talk about racism. And I'm not talking about the racism that the left talks about. I'm talking about real racism, where someone targets someone else based solely off the color of their skin. And we have a story that fits that description perfectly. Let's check it out.
Obviously, our two victims in the random shooting incident were white individuals. The shooter was black, and you know, there was that question of what did he target those individuals, and our investigation has led us to the fact that yes, he did.
Tonight, we are hearing from Tulsa's Chief of Police, Wendell Franklin, about the deadly shooting rampage that is now considered a hate crime. We've brought you extensive coverage of the crime that left these two innocent men dead. Today, I talked with Chief Franklin about his message to the community.
You know, it's just so crazy that the left always talks about racism, 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 white supremacy, racism, racism, racism. But they never want to talk about real racism. They never want to talk about these incidences where someone is actually targeted based only on the color of their skin, not a perceived racism that they can make and turn it into racism. I'm talking about actual racism. We have a story right now that's all over the headlines about Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely is a black man who was homeless and threatening passengers on a subway train, and 3 individuals had to restrain him because he was just going ballistic on people. And one of those individuals put him in a chokehold just to make sure that he was held and couldn't assault anybody. Jordan Neely ended up dying while he was in that chokehold. They were waiting for police to arrive. Now, if you listen to that situation for what it is, doesn't sound like racism to me, right? We don't look at that and say, well, the person who had him in a chokehold must have been white. If you didn't know anything about the race of Jordan Neely or the race of the person who had him in a chokehold, would you automatically assume that the person that had him in a chokehold was white? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't know, because if you look at the story on face value, it just seems like Jordan Neely was acting erratic and threatening people, and someone who was a good Samaritan, actually 3 people who were good Samaritans, they tried to help the situation because the police were not there and couldn't get there for a very long time. So it doesn't sound like racism to me. But the left wants to make it racism because they know the race of Jordan Neely and the race of the person who had him in a chokehold. So they just assume that the person who put him in a chokehold only put him in a chokehold because he was white and Jordan Neely was black, and this person who put him in a chokehold doesn't value the lives of black people, so that's why he put him in a chokehold. When we know that has not been proven, that is kind of far-fetched when you think about it, because it's not like Jordan Neely was minding his own business and this person just put him in a chokehold for no reason. He put him in a chokehold because he was threatening people. So the left tries to make and manufacture racism when none exists, because they want racism to be on everybody's mind, because they use this as part of their Marxist agenda to try to manipulate the American people. But when we have a situation of real racism, like we're seeing here, even the black police chief confirmed that these 2 white men were targeted by black men based only on their race. Nobody wants to talk about racism anymore.
Questions that came up after a deadly shooting rampage have now been confirmed.
Our investigation has led us to the fact that yes, he did target those individuals and sought them out because of their skin color.
We first told you Monday, on top of the murder and shooting with intent to kill charges, a new charge has been filed against Carlton Gilford. It's for malicious intimidation or harassment, which the district attorney says is Oklahoma's version of a hate crime. I talked with Tulsa Police Chief Wendell Franklin about the developments.
Does it make you sad that he was targeting certain people? Just going to find certain people and shooting and killing them for no reason?
Oh yeah, certainly. It certainly does, and
I'll tell you guys, I'm saddened by that too. When I heard about George Floyd and I saw the whole situation for what it was, I didn't feel horrible for George Floyd, because I felt like he put himself in that situation. He resisted arrest. He asked to be put on the ground. He was on drugs. So, no, I didn't feel sorry for George Floyd. I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for Jordan Neely because he was acting erratic. Seems like he was on drugs too, threatening people. We had a history of violent crime against random people. He broke a elderly woman's nose for no reason. So he has a history of violence. So I don't feel sorry for Jordan Neely, but I do feel sorry for these two white men who were just minding their own business. One was shot in the back of the head. I think the other one was too. I'm not for certain, but I know one of them was shot in the back of the head at a library when he was on the computer. So yes, I feel sorry for these two white men, and their faces should be plastered all over the place. Their faces should be all over TV because they are actual victims of hate crimes. They are actual victims of a racist killer. Okay? So these people should be the people that are talked about by the mainstream media if they want to talk about racism and how racism is running rampant in this country. But no, they don't want to talk about them. You know why? Because they're white. The mainstream media and these Democrat politicians, these liberals, they hate white people. So when white people die, they don't care. They don't want to hear about it, even if it's two innocent men who are killed just based off the color of their skin. And that makes me sick, knowing that we live in a society that does not value life.
I think it begs the question of what was going through his mind in those moments, because these people had zero communication with him. They didn't even know who he was. They probably never saw him when he pulled the trigger.
We told you last month when police say Gilford shot London Hathcock in the back of the head inside the Rudisill Library and then did the same to James McDaniel at the Quick Trip down the road near Pine and Peoria.
So he shot two white men in the back of the head. They weren't even looking at him. They did nothing to him. Why isn't this story all over the news? Oh my God, what have we become as a country? Are we that brainwashed to where we only care about things that the media tells us to care about because this is not plastered all over the media, because celebrities are not talking about this story, that nobody cares about it? Well, I care. And if I could find the GoFundMe account for these two men, I will definitely donate, because this is sick that this story is not getting the attention it deserves.
Both men died. Chief Franklin told me it's a big reminder that society is at its breaking point and that we need to check in on our loved ones, especially if they are in a disturbed mental state.
If a person's mental state is declining, we need to intervene.
Gilford is being held without bond. His preliminary hearing is set for June 23rd.
I really hope Oklahoma has the death penalty. I really do, because I don't think there's any other way. You have someone who could care less about anyone's life. They commit this heinous act, two heinous acts against innocent people. I'm sorry, but they don't deserve to walk amongst us. They don't deserve to sit in prison and waste taxpayer dollars on feeding and housing them. They just need to go. This man needs to go. That's just what it is. I don't care. And I hope that the families get to watch it. But straight up, I hope the families get to watch it. I want to watch it. I want to watch it because I feel so sorry for the family of these two victims. They were just sitting there minding their own business, and some deranged maniac just shoots them in the back of their head just because of the color of their skin. If it happened to a black person by a white person, I'd be just as outraged. But the difference is, if it happened to a black person at the hands of a white person, the media would never stop talking about it. We'd hear President Joe Biden talking about it. He'd go visit the families of the victims. Everybody will be talking about the situation. But because it's two white people who dies at the hands of a black person, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody sends condolences to the families. It's just another story that's ignored. And that's so sad. I don't know where we're going as a society, but we're going in the wrong direction. And it's only getting worse. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.